All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers in tonight's video. This is one of the best teams in the National Football League, sitting here at 10-4. In my opinion, it's a top 5 team. You got to take them seriously for the Super Bowl contention. They're coming off a 30-13 road victory against the Seattle Seahawks. That game was really interesting to me heading into it because I hate playing the Seattle Seahawks. I really mainly hate playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. I've just been burned. We've all been burned. If you're a Packers fan, Brandon Bostic comes to mind right away. But Green Bay just constantly gets burned against Seattle. It feels like, kind of something similar with San Francisco. At this point, or before Jordan Love, I just hate going west. I hate playing these West Coast teams, and that's completely shifted. I know technically Green Bay lost San Francisco in the playoff game last season, but that win to me, it was very important because it was complete and utter domination. I know Geno Smith, the starting quarterback for Seattle, ultimately ended up getting injured and didn't return. But at that point, I was never really concerned Green Bay was going to lose it with or without Geno. And so this just feels like a special season. When they hold opponents to under 25, they're 9-1. When Jordan Love's fully healthy, they're 9-1. When you watch this defense play football, it's not even close to Joe Barry and even before Joe Barry, Packers defense. It's just not even close. So folks, welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Green Bay Packers in tonight's video. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring it. More on that in just a couple of minutes. But Jordan's having a phenomenal season. 20-27, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's like 47 yards below 3,000. Obviously, he's missed a couple of games. He's been injured in a couple of those, but he's got 23 touchdowns and 11 interceptions on the season. And Jordan Love, at this point last year, was playing like a literal MVP. And like I just said, he started the season injured. Game 1. Right at the end of game 1 against Philly in Brazil, he gets banged up. And so Malik Willis has to step in. And they actually brought Jordan back much quicker than I had initially anticipated. And he was injured. And he was, not to be dramatic or not to disregard the other team. Like I'm thinking of the Minnesota game specifically, not to discredit their victory. But Jordan Love's playing on one leg for a lot of this season. So that's why I said when he's fully healthy, they're 9-1. And the big thing with the Green Bay Packers, if you're a Packers fan, is defensive concerns. And recently, ever since Preston Smith got traded, that's not been a concern. Joe Barry and the new dude, it's not even close. So if you're not a Packers fan, your concern is Jordan Love and his youth and the inexperience of the Green Bay Packers. So I was actually even just reading an Athletic article. It's one of the reasons I'm making this video. And they had the Packers at number 4 in their power rankings. But here's what they said. Quarterback Jordan Love is having a good year, but he's also tied for 6th in the league with 11 interceptions. My initial reaction to that was, oh no. All right, guys, we're over here on BetUS, the sponsor of the show today, and we're just looking at the odds for the New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers game on Monday evening. Point spread here, we got the over-under here, but I did just want to let you guys know that BetUS doesn't have to be just Packers. They're offering 150% bonus on first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2. It's not just the NFL. It's not just the Green Bay Packers. Go check them out. But yeah, that's it. Let's get back to this video. Oh no, Jordan Love is 11 interceptions. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm not concerned about Jordan Love. I don't think any Packers fans concerned about Jordan Love, so we're not even going to talk about it. When you look at the rest of the offense, which is still the youngest offense in the NFL, by the way, Josh Jacobs been the complete difference maker. He's having an unbelievable season. He's got almost 1,200 rushing yards. He's got 12 total rushing touchdowns against Seattle, a very good defense, a very good rushing defense, just a really good defense with a defensive coach. That's way too many times to say that word consecutively. But Josh Jacobs, 26 carries, 94 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, and a touchdown. He's just been the difference maker. He's 3rd in the league in rushing, and I don't mean that as a dig at A.J. Dillon last season or Aaron Jones mainly, because Aaron Jones around this time last year when he finally got fully healthy was just an absolute animal. He was a beast, especially against Dallas. But, it's just he's younger. Josh Jacobs 3 years younger than than Aaron Jones. I just feel so much more confident and comfortable moving forward. And I always love and miss Showtime 33, but I am so glad and happy that they signed Josh Jacobs. Like we said, he's third in the league in rushing. He's got 12 rushing touchdowns. The dude's been a stud. Another big nitpick people have with the Green Bay Packers is they have no wide receiver one. The big thing floating around Twitter, you guys should follow my Twitter links in the description, is this past week is the Bears have not won a game in a really long time. They have not won a game in a long time. And I'm not trying to throw salt in the Bears' wound. But one big thing was, the Packers receiving room, for example, last week, top 3 receivers, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed. Most people, like if you're an NFL fan, if you're an analyst, whatever, most people say, well, Green Bay doesn't have technically a wide receiver one, and I agree with that still, but they don't need a wide receiver one because all of these guys can be number one on a week-to-week basis. And it was just kind of funny because the Chicago Bears, traded for Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore. They drafted Rome Odunze. And people were just saying, like, any member of the Green Bay Packers wide receiver room would be wide receiver number 4 over in Chicago. And we all laugh at that. And Christian Watson's been a really good example of this. He's really turned his season around. And, the main thing with Christian Watson is not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of speed, that's for sure. It's just injuries, right? It's just injuries with Christian Watson. Can he stay healthy? It's not like he's injured for an entire season. It's just, little stuff like hamstrings. And that's why in the summer he really worked on that, so it wasn't going to be an issue. But Christian Watson in the last 5 games has had 13 catches on 24 targets for 387 yards. In his first 8 games, Christian Watson had 20 targets, but he only had 13 catches, just like he has, in the last 5. But it was only 196 yards. And so, you got Christian Watson. You got Romeo Doubs, who's come back from his concussion. He caught 2 beautiful touchdowns. You had Jayden Reed, who can just do a multitude of different things. You got Dontavian Wicks. I know he's had some drops, but whatever. Josh Jacobs has been really good in the receiving department. Tucker Kraft looks like long-term one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. And then they just have such a good view of talent. The Green Bay Packers for my entire life, thankfully, have just been such good evaluators of talent. And a really good example has been Edgerrin Cooper. I mean, he looks like a literal star. He's coming off a game where he had 7 tackles. He had a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, 2 quarterback hurries, and an interception. In only 11 games on the season, he's got 59 tackles, 4 passes defended, a forced fumble, 3.5 sacks. And like we said, it's only been 11 games. I got this article or this excerpt here from The Athletic. The first linebacker in April's draft wasn't taken until the 2nd round at number 45. That's when the Packers nabbed Cooper, the 2nd-ranked linebacker in the draft by The Athletic's Dane Brugler. A first-team All-American at Texas A&M last season, Cooper was the only player in the draft who led his team, a top 5 defense, by the way, in tackles for loss, sacks, and forced fumbles. And this is just such a random point, just kind of like glaze him a little bit more, glaze this Packers team a little bit more. My really, really good friend who's a really, really big Chicago Bears fan, huge Chicago Bears fan, shout out to Nick, huge SEC guy. He's a Florida Gator fan, so he knows SEC like the back of his hand. When the Packers grabbed Cooper at 45, he was like, God damn it, I hate the Packers. Why do the Packers every year of my life know exactly what they're doing and who to pick and what they're doing? That's it for tonight's hype video. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this. And guys, let me know down below how far your Green Bay or the Green Bay Packers going in this year's playoffs. We'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.